Hey, what is up, guys? This is Quarter Recall, live show. We're taking a look back at what was going on in pop culture this week, 25 years ago. Movies, music, video games. Is there other stuff? Laser tag, roller
We always
rinks.
we always say there's other stuff, and yet we never talk about other stuff. But that's not to say we never will.
I'm here with my lovely co-host Leo. You just heard him. Leo, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening.
What
Happy to
was?
be here.
I'm trying to think of some other stuff. What was 25? 97. I was, you
There was a
know.
lot of cool shit, man. I do. I'm not like a big comics guy, but I do think comics would probably be fun to talk to. Maybe if we knew someone who knew anything about
Yeah,
comics. But I feel like '90s comics were very weird and strange, and would be kind of an interesting thing to bring in. But I just don't have the education on it.
yeah. When I was really little, I kind of liked comics, like like
Yeah.
X-Men era stuff. Um, I do remember in the mid 90s, this actually probably is the Death of Superman era. I remember I bought that
Yeah.
when it came out, but everyone did. Like, that was like the biggest fucking comic of
Yeah,
comics.
because fucking Doomsday took him down, right?
Yeah. And there was like all the new Superman, right? They had like all these like different
Yeah.
identity Supermen.
Yep.
And so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know very much about that era of comics. I actually have been reading more comics lately than I did in the 90s.
Oh, cool. So
Um,
maybe you can go back and catch up. I remember the Spider-Man clone saga where it was like, is Peter Parker a clone? The Scarlet Spider, all that shit, which apparently is just like universally loathed as an incredibly irritating thing, but it sounds very 90s, and I do remember that vaguely. Being like, oh my god, he was a clone all along.
yeah, Peter Parker's a simulation, bro.
Yeah, it's a simulation.
I actually have been reading this comic now called Once in Future, and it's like so up my alley. Like it's really good, but
Nice.
it's
What's it about?
about like so it's set in modern day, and this guy is like a, I don't know, is he an archaeologist? I wish I remembered, but it's so like not part of the, it's like the first episode they talk
It
about
just
it.
this has a job.
Um, but his mother is like, I mean, this is no spoilers, but she's like this like a legend hunter, right? Like, so the premise of the book is that um like stories kind of come to life based on like where you are and how like relevant they are to that culture, right?
Hmm.
And they kind of stay hidden, but like this is all based around like Arthurian like legend, right? So it's like um the like in the beginning there's a lady and she like groups up with these like, I don't know if they're like white supremacists, right? And their idea is that they're going to resurrect King Arthur, right? To basically kill the invaders of Britain, right? Like,
Okay.
which they would
Yeah.
see as like foreigners, right? But
Right.
the trick is that King Arthur didn't give a shit if you were white or brown. He gave
Right.
a shit if you were Saxon, right? And
Yeah.
so, the intro is basically him, you know, killing all these white supremacists because they're not Saxons, right? Like,
Nice. Yeah,
right,
that's
which is
funny.
pretty good. But it
Yeah.
kind of sets off this course of events where they end up kind of battling all these different legends, and the Green Knight shows up, and you got a Percival, you got an Arthur, you got a Lancelot, and
Yeah.
and and they all use like their, so like the main character is named Percival, and he has basically a brother he doesn't know about named Lancelot, but these parents name their children these so that they could work them into the legends, so they'd be like
Interesting.
relevant
Yeah.
to the historical legends when they came to like fight, you know what I mean? So like only a Lancelot can be like the strongest knight, you know what I mean? Or only a Percival could do, yeah. So it's really interesting. It's really fun. It's a really fun read because it's very like monster of the week, but it's also very like magical and mystical. And I love. I mean, I've probably said it. I don't know if I said it on this show before, but I love Arthurian legends. Like,
Yeah.
I love that fucking Merlin, Sword and
Yeah.
Stone, Once a
Sir,
Future
Sir,
King. Like,
yeah, Sir Gawain, all
yeah,
that shit.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that shit.
Miss of Avalon. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
So
that sounds fucking awesome. I love that. It almost reminds me of like sort of the Sandman vibe, where it's just everything's sort of based on belief, and
yeah,
and the belief of culture is like what gives these totemic deities power. It's a really compelling concept. That
yeah,
sounds
and
awesome.
there's just these random wild ones that come into play because they're like in a
Yeah.
place where something happens, or they go somewhere and someone invokes like fucking Beowulf or some shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's really good. It's really fun. and the art's great. Like cover art's what draws you into comics, right? And the cover art's sick because it was like the first one I saw was just like this demonic like King Arthur with Excalibur, like, and I was like, oh, I gotta
Yeah,
fucking,
I'm fucking in.
I'm in. Yeah, I wander around comic book stores sometimes. I don't really read a lot of comics, and I saw this one, and I was like, hey, comic book guy, like, what is this thing? Like, tell me about it, right? And he told me, and I bought all of them. Yeah.
I spent $700 on.
No, it's not that. It's like it was
know,
like 4 volumes, so it was like $50 or $60. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds rad. I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, there you go. So I guess we do talk about comics now.
Yeah, comic
You're,
talk.
you're welcome, everybody.
We fucking did it. We broke the paradigm.
We talked about the Scarlet Spider. We talked about fucking the death of Superman.
Yeah,
Hey, we're comic book guys.
We're
now.
totally.
We cover anime. We cover comic books.
Speaking of, you watch any more anime?
I did watch a little bit more Neon Genesis Evangelion.
You still like it?
Yeah. I didn't watch as much as I was hoping for. It was kind of a busy week, but I think I'm on the 7th episode or so. And, full disclosure, you and I talked a little bit about it outside of this, but I really think it's very cool.
Okay.
I guess I don't think it's cool enough to sit down and watch all of it in a row, apparently. Like it doesn't have its hooks in me in the way it could. But as far as like watching anime goes from that era, I find it to be pretty fucking great. I really like it. Yeah. I think it looks great. I think the writing's very good, which I'm sure we'll talk about. So far, again, I want to clarify, I've not finished it, and from everything I've heard, it kind of gets off the rails in a way that you either love or hate. So we'll see. I'm leaving judgment, but so far, I'm really surprised by how much I like it.
I'm surprised too, because it's bad.
Yeah, I know you always say that, but it's definitely not bad.
Okay.
I'd be I guess bad compared to what? Like other anime of the era certainly doesn't seem very bad.
I will say, like, I think that's kind of where it gets its notoriety, right? I don't think it's better per se than other anime of the era, but it's darker, right? I think most, like, in that time, most mature content was done in movies. It's like anime movies, like Akira or Ghibli
or like
films,
or like Perfect Blue. And,
yeah. It wasn't done in weekly segments like this, and I think that's kind of what drew so much attention to it or made it really stand out. But I think against modern tendencies, I think it's pretty weak. But
that's sort of I don't know. Is that fair? I don't know.
I mean, of course it's fair because it's right now, right? Like,
no, I guess what I'm saying is you're not allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
No, I guess I'm coming at it from the perspective of I've never watched any anime that's not a movie from that era, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming in completely objective, not completely objective, but maybe more than you are. And I'm just watching. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty fucking great. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like, yeah, this is great. I have very little context to compare it to, but it's way better than any anime from that era that I'm familiar with, and I'm enjoying it as its whole. Again, I'll clarify, like, I don't think it's insanely incredible or like life-changing. There's a lot I don't like about it, but I like it a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I don't know. If you enjoy it, great. Like, if this is your...
It kind of sounds like you're trying to take it away from me, Tony. Is that what's going on here?
No, I mean, we're allowed to like different things, but yeah, I think the Milfy character is pretty good. Like, she's
Which
interesting.
One is that?
The one he lives with, that's drinking all the time with
the
penguin,
MILF one who's
right?
who's like 20.
Yeah, but in the context,
no, she is great. Yeah, the penguin's a fucking great example of something very strange, where it just pops up. I'm like, what the fuck? This is why I don't like anime. This is why people will watch anime and are like, what the hell is this? That goddamn penguin. Shit like that drives me insane.
Yeah,
but
I'm saying in the context of the anime, she's like the big sister character, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she is awesome, actually. Very interesting.
I think she's a good character.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I don't. Like, I think Shinji is just completely uninteresting. Unlikable, I think, is a good trait to have. He is uninteresting.
I agree with that. He's very much like, again, so far, I think of him as just completely traumatized beyond like even having a personality, like he barely even is. He's like almost borderline catatonic. So he is uninteresting as a protagonist, but it's also
it's great that they paired him with another catatonic person.
Yeah, there was that scene where he he essentially breaks into her apartment to like give her a card, and then she's naked and he like falls on her.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is the kind of shit that I fucking hate.
Yeah, and it's two basically lifeless doll humans, right?
Yeah.
Like
Catatonic, absolutely traumatized
yeah.
beyond like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
very dark, but to your point, like just because it's dark doesn't make it mature. I don't think that's why I find it compelling. It's I don't know, it's just interesting. I want to know what's up with all these weird aliens that just come in. I love how every alien just looks
good luck with that part.
Totally different. Like the one that just came in is just a big fucking tetrahedron cube. It's wild. Just shoots lasers.
I cannot wait for you to finish that series.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. They're like, just wait.
I can't wait.
I'm sure I'll have more to report if and when. I don't even know if I'll finish it. If suddenly 24 episodes feels like pretty long.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. I had a hard time getting through that show as well, and I watch a lot of anime, right? Like a lot, and I was just like, it's painful, and it's like, how could it be? I don't know. Like that's what I mean. How could it be like, oh no, it's the best? And it's like, then why is it so painful to try and watch? The intro song's great though. Like the op for that show is legendary.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
That's a legendary song, bro.
Well, yeah, but the show's legendary too. That doesn't necessarily make it. I don't know. I don't like.
The show
I really hate the music in the show. Not necessarily the intro song, but like the music they use is really one of the weakest points for me. Whenever a song plays, it's always so like saccharine and.
The show's mid. That's why it's like a mid-ass show, bro. The animation's not very good.
Yeah, I think it's like it's not good in terms of motion, but I think it's very thoughtfully constructed. But again, I will say, admitting I don't have any context for what else was on at the time, as far as I know the movies, but I have no basis for comparison. So maybe it is shittier than other animation of that time that was on TV.
Just watch it with the awareness that there's so many scenes where nothing moves for like an extremely long period of time. And
but I do think that they do kind of bring that into the tone though a little bit. Like it is very contemplative, I'm not saying that as an excuse or that they did that intentionally, but I do think I've noticed that. But at times I think it actually really works because nothing's moving because, the person's not thinking or
you think that's
the whole
why they
point
did
is
it?
to be.
You think that's why they're like, this is a
You think that's why? That's why. No, I do think it works though, and they were probably aware of that. Like using the limitations of your medium to enhance the theme is, I think, actually a pretty smart thing when you're able to do that.
Yeah, I bought a small car because it's easy to park, not because it's cheap. Okay.
Well, both can be true, I guess is my point.
Both can be true. It is very easy to park my car, and I do appreciate it. Okay, what else did you get into this week? Like, you played a game? Did you watch anything else?
I did. I played a game from this era, actually, that I'd love to talk a little bit about. It's called Doom.
Doom? Did you play it on
You ever hear about Doom?
Did you play it on that new, what is that new fucking wind-up thing?
No, I didn't. But I did play with I do, yeah. I forget what it's called, but
it's called the Playdate.
Like the Playdate, yeah.
Someone ported Doom to it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, but I did play it with my fancy GPU with ray tracing enabled. That was sort of my excuse to play it again. And I really like it. I realized I've played a lot of Doom growing up, like on my first computer, because it's all I could run. But I don't know if I ever actually beat it. Like sat down, I used cheats and fucked around with it a lot. But I don't know if I ever actually sat down on normal and just played through the whole thing. And playing it with RTX and all sort of the modern conveniences of like mouse movement and being able to use WASD and all that makes a big difference, I think. But it's a really cool game, I know it sounds stupid, like, hey, Doom's pretty cool, but it really is. It's interesting playing it now with like with that little extra modern sheen, but it's still very much the core of what it was, which is sort of like you're basically like this strange ice skating. The movement in it is so loose that it really does feel like you're skating, which at first can be a little off-putting, but once you get used to it, it's kind of cool. And you don't aim in the same way, right? Because there's no up or down, so you're really trying to just center your foes and like move away from their projectiles. Some of them are hit scan and some of them aren't. So it's, I don't know, it's very unique feel when you just like strip away all its legacy and everything that Doom is and represents, and you just kind of play it as a game from its era. It's a really interesting game. It feels very unique.
A Doom guy is actually a sick rollerblader. That's the lore.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It really does feel like you're on roller. It's super like loose in a way that you don't see now.
Yeah, Doom's
But
dope.
yeah,
Even at
it's
the
fun.
time,
Yeah,
like I remember playing Doom when it came out and just being like, "This is fucking nuts," you know,
yeah,
like
it's cool.
nuts. Yeah, it's a good game.
It's got great sound design. You know, the monsters, the weird MIDI music, all of that stuff is really fun. And we've talked about this before, and I think it's relevant to the trailers we watch and stuff. But I love the idea that Doom was at some point like controversial as far as
Oh yeah,
content. It's
yeah,
just
for
so
sure.
charming and it's so funny. I love the idea of a mom seeing that, or a dad, or whoever, seeing Doom and being like, "My God, this is so satanic and evil." And it's so like corny and silly and goofy. You know, it's like original Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities. The idea that someone could be scared or offended by that is
Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah,
charming.
there was a real like devil fear in the '90s
Yeah, the
about
satanic panic. Yeah.
about anything with a pentagram was pretty
Yeah.
terrifying.
Which isn't even satanic. That's what's so funny.
I
But
mean, yeah. I mean, what really is satanic? You know what I
right,
mean? Like,
it's
there's
nothing.
nothing. It's like it's a
It's
non-issue.
yeah,
Um,
nobody is that thing that everyone's scared of.
yeah, as someone who grew up religious, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's fun to look back on those times with a different perspective, but it's definitely interesting to look back on those times with a different perspective because, wow, it's a
Yeah.
thing. There's a
No,
lot.
totally.
I don't want to come off like I'm anti-religions, right? Because there was a lot of very positive things about growing up in the church, including like friendships I made and, mentors I had and learning like instruments and like, a lot of like fun things I did and, fun lessons and like important things I learned. But
Yeah.
when you got to like the fringes like that, like the satanic panic and even like, things around like sexuality and cursing and like those types of things, it was so
Yeah.
strange, so strange.
Yeah, and I was sort of on the other side of the spectrum where I was raised sort of like uh more like pagan, you know. That was sort of my upbringing, my mother's perspective that I sort of adopted. She was Catholic but kind of rejected it in favor of yeah, essentially like sort of a loose paganism, vaguely Wiccan thing. So I kind of had that perspective more, which made playing Doom even funnier. The idea that it was like, wow, this is who would be scared by this and why? Like, there's nothing biblical about this. It's so far removed from any sort of traditional Christian or any other religious dogma, other than it's like vaguely violent.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
can remember
fascinating to
me
revisit in that context.
and one of my friends. So I played guitar a lot in high school, like junior high and high school. And I
Yeah.
remember me and my friend were like playing Hotel California, and like we didn't get in trouble, but like there was like drama around it because it was like satanic. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Hotel California.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, like the most
Real fucking edgy,
yeah,
real edgy song.
yeah, like the most sweater dad band of all
Yeah,
time.
it's like the most boomer thing in the world. And they're like, "Whoa, man, this is
Too much, bro.
really
Too
pushing
much.
really pushing boundaries."
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
funny.
kind of
But
that's
yeah,
like just kind of stuff, like the lack of perspective around things like that. But Doom was
yeah, but
awesome. To do what
it
Doom was
is,
awesome.
and it's really fun. Like I just got through the first episode, and there's 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm having a blast with it. You know, it's like it's really cool. Again, just like I said, when you strip away kind of the legacy and everything Doom is and means, and all the sequels and everything. I love Doom. I love all of it. I love Doom 3. I love Doom Eternal. I love all of it. I'm a big fan. But it's really kind of fun just stripping all that away and playing it just as a game, being like, Doom, has this legacy, but just playing it now, it feels so unique and it's so cool and interesting. It's really easy. I mean, I'm playing it on normal, I guess, but it's like its simplicity is very charming, I guess. And I don't mean that in as any sort of indictment. It has a lot of charm in other ways, but it's just fun to play.
It's wild that it has been around so long, right?
Yeah,
And really just on the merits of Doom,
yeah,
right? Like they've done some other things, but
yeah. But Rage, real game changer.
yeah, and Wolfenstein people like now, but nothing like what
Yeah.
Doom is.
And that wasn't Doom, or that wasn't id really. That was Machine Head, right? That was
Oh
like
yeah,
totally
true.
different developer. So it's like they're an interesting. They're kind of like a slightly different version of Valve, much less successful, but similarly successful in some ways. They're a fascinating company, and I think Doom really is emblematic of, kind of their changes. And yeah, it's a great example of every time Doom, like Mortal Kombat, is successful, really happy because there's just so much joy and fun and mayhem and like gleeful celebration of aesthetics and ridiculousness in both of those franchises that I find enormously charming. I'm always happy when it continues new ways.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to have a good time. So
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm
no
all-
one's made a Doom game and been like, fucking hate Doom, but we got to make one. It's always like, well, let's do something weird and crazy, and whether it works or not, intriguing.
yeah, have a little fun with it.
Yeah. What did you get up to though?
What
This
did
week.
what did I get up to this week? I'm trying to remember. I played some Final Fantasy 14. Obviously,
Nice.
I haven't played in a while. I've been kind of disconnected, but I didn't finish the Endwalker quest. I got to like the very end and like
That's right.
didn't finish it. So I was like, all right, I need to just like finish it. So I did. I found Endwalker as a expansion to be, I don't know. I wasn't that into it. I know some people are very into it, so I don't think it's bad by any means, but I just thought Shadowbringer was so much better. Shadowbringer was so good. And
I agree. I think it was a step down from Shadowbringer, but I liked it more than the other two.
yeah, I just feel like they leaned into some mechanics and things that like didn't need to be like, they could have just done the game how they do the game, but like there's a ton of like following missions and like which I
Having
found,
to look around for stuff. I
yeah,
hate
look
that shit.
around for stuff missions and stuff that I was just like
Yeah.
like why, like this just seems so unnecessary and doesn't really, it's not that fun to do,
100% agree.
So
I mean, welcome to MMOs on one hand, but on the other hand, I know what you mean. It feels very gimmicky. Like they're like, well, we got to do something different, and even if it's not fun, at least it's different, which is really not a great way to go about it.
yeah, like the first time you follow someone or have a follower, or it's like, oh, someone can follow you, like you can talk to them and take them places. It's like, okay, this is interesting. And then you do it like 20 fucking times and you're just like, this is not interesting. Like, it
wasn't that great the first time.
Yeah, the shine is gone, and you just kind of start rushing through it. I also don't love the twins in the game. So I was a bit like,
careful. People get real up in arms about those two.
let's put it this way. At the end of the game, it's like talk to all the scions, right? There's like a mission. It's like just talk to all of them.
Great. That environment was fucking awesome.
And I literally just talked to Yustola and then skipped everyone else's dialogue.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
I was like, yeah, Yustola, write your book. Everyone else can fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, she is clearly the best
clearly.
by a country mile. Like, she's so awesome.
And maybe
I like the twins a
Einsteinian
lot.
is cool, but
I like all of them. I will say
I
like the
like
twins,
all
too.
of them. But the twins are so fucking dramatic. Like, I don't know. The melodrama of those two is just too much. Like, yeah.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense. I find them charming. Like the whole thing with their dad and that whole story arc, I found very charming and sweet. And yeah, but I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Their mom's cool, though.
Yeah, their mom's cool, and their dad, ended up being kind of cool at the end.
Kind of a dick. I mean, the mom. No, finding out the mom was like the secret benefactor of the Scions. You're just
that
like,
was awesome.
like, fuck yeah, mom. Like,
yeah,
fuck
when
yeah.
she goes, yeah, spoiler alert, but when she was like, when the little one Tataru's like, where do you think all this fucking money comes from?
Yeah, like,
you think it came from me? Like, in my solid Dogecoin investments?
Yeah.
Nah.
How you think we buy fucking the biggest building in every city we go to? Like,
I'd give you these sick outfits.
yeah. Who makes these dope threads? But yeah, I thought it was good. They added a PvP mode that I find pretty fun, and it's well populated, which is cool.
Nice.
So it's a good way to like just jump in and farm some tomes and do your thing.
Gotta farm some tomes, man.
I was gonna call them runes, and I'm like, that's an Elden Ring. That is not this game.
I mean, it's pretty close. Might as well be.
Yeah. So I've been playing that. I actually I've been watching this. I don't know. This Chinese esports show. So there was one I really liked called King's Avatar that was based on a Chinese comic and like Chinese. I don't know what they call Chinese anime. I don't know if it's just anime. But,
I don't either. There's probably a word for it, but
I'm sure there is because Korean ones have a special name. So there was this Chinese one called King's Avatar that I liked a lot. It's hard, like, because Chinese sounds so different. It's kind of difficult to like get into. Also, every Chinese show dubs their audio for some reason. I think because it's cheap. But I always find that
I was reading about why they do that. It's kind of a whole interesting, totally different industry thing. But yeah. It
Yeah,
is very distracting and hard to get used to for sure.
yeah. I guess Indian productions do the same thing, and I find it
It's
challenging.
because it's because of all the accents, right? Because there's so many diverse dialects in India and China that they can't really like have one actor do it.
Yeah, but I also think it's because it's cheaper. Like, because even if they wanted to dub it later, they could make like a initial version, right, with the default audio. Because like if you're watching it in America, right, like it doesn't matter what the accent is. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
even if you use the most popular accent in China and use that as like your base version and then dub every subsequent version, that would make at least the base version better, or people could subtitle if they wanted to.
yeah,
Um, but I think it's audio's expense. It's a whole nother expense to have live audio recording, right? Where if you're going to dub anything else, it's like just dub everything. Like it's
yeah.
just one more line read. Like who cares? But yeah, it feels bad. But what's this? I'm trying to remember what the show's called. It's not. I'm not into it. It is not what I. King's Avatar was dope because it was all about esports and it was like this made up game, and there wasn't like a love story or like it was just kind of this like overpowered dude and like his like revenge tale, which I was like, this is sick.
Yeah,
This
that sounds like something you could get into.
yeah, and this one's called Falling Into Your Smile, and it's
Bleh.
because the girl's name is like Smiling, like her. She's like the main character. It's like this girl that joins an esports team, but it is trying to be like a Korean drama and be like quirky and cute love story, and uh, I am not. I'm not feeling it at all. It's
Well, I love hearing about these things because I'm so out of touch with all of it, so it's great. But I'm glad you also are like, you know what, I don't like this. Maybe I'll watch something else.
yeah.
It's
I
okay
like
to
to
it's okay to get out of things, you know.
yeah. I like to try things, and I do watch a lot of like Korean dramas and stuff, and I try to
Yeah,
watch some Chinese shows, and I watch a lot of Japanese shows, obviously, because of my wife. Um, but yeah, this
yeah,
one
because of your wife, I'm sure you wouldn't watch Japanese shows.
I wouldn't watch like the TV shows.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Right. I watch like anime and stuff, but she watches like Japanese like YouTube constantly. And I
Yeah,
have learned more about like what Japanese people are actually like from these like Japanese for Japanese people YouTube shows, right? Like
yeah,
it is crazy. Um like it is crazy, because you'd think if someone was watching you watch, American YouTube, it's like this is not what I see on TV. You know what I mean? Like this is a very different version
yeah,
of culture than what's, prepared for us.
yeah,
Um
yeah. That's like, yeah.
yeah,
It's almost like everyone's the same but different.
but different. Um
Yeah. Whoa.
so that, and then I'm gonna go watch that movie today. I think the what is it called? Everything Everywhere All the Time, or is that what
Yeah,
it's
I think it's called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything
Something.
Everywhere All at Once? Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that today because
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it. I've heard nothing but unanimous praise from a great deal of many people that I respect a lot. So
I'm either watching that or
excited to hear
Sonic
about
2.
it.
I'm not sure which one's better though.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
You know,
Honestly, Sonic 2 seems pretty fucking cool. Idris Elba's Knuckles. I know you're a Sonic hater, but I bet it's probably pretty good.
no, I love the Sonic movie. It's the best Sonic property.
Well, no, it's not. But
Yeah, Ben Schwartz is sick.
no, Ben Schwartz is sick.
Yeah, it's got Doctor Robotnik, whatever, Jim, whatever.
Jim Carrey.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. Yeah,
that
Jim Carrey.
that unknown actor, Jim Carrey.
It's funny. I was listening to someone else talk about that though, because they have kids, and they're like, "Oh, we took a bunch of kids to watch Sonic," and he's like, "It's funny watching kids respond to the things that we all loved in Jim Carrey when we were young."
Yeah,
Like we all kind of laugh now because it's like kind of cringy, right? Like
it
his
is. It's rough.
energy and his like, you're like, ugh. But then it's like 10-year-olds watch that shit and they're just like Dr. Robotnik, like, oh, like they kind of like it, and it's like, oh, like no wonder I liked Ace Ventura when I was 13. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense that like that
Yeah.
young people
No.
respond to that, right?
Totally. I think recontextualizing him as like a psychotic villain actually helps a lot, right? Because like when you watch The Mask or Ace Ventura now, I think it's brutal.
Yeah.
To watch. It's unwatchable, really, I would say. But I think recontextualizing that energy as a villain, even that alone, kind of somehow
I mean, I think
frees
it's
it up
yeah.
to be a little more accessible and more sort of entertaining. To like, I'm not going to root for Ace Ventura.
That's why Cable Guy's so good.
Horrific. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Like when you think about Jim Carrey performances, people like Cable Guy for that reason. He's like an unhinged psychopath, makes a lot more sense than like pretending he's a protagonist. Like when we watched the Liar Liar trailer a few weeks ago, it's just like, ew, I don't want to like root for this guy. But if he was the villain of like a normal love story, I don't know, maybe he is if you watch the movie now, but it makes a lot more sense. So I think
did
him
feel
as
like
Dr. Robotnik, totally unhinged and just way out there, works a lot better. I can see why that would be appealing.
I kind of feel like I remember thinking Ace Ventura was the bad guy in those movies.
Oh man, I bet those movies would be brutal to watch now.
Because like, who was the girl in that movie?
I don't remember. I saw them like in theaters.
Yeah, I haven't watched them either, but I remember like, oh, it's Courtney Cox. Okay, that's what I thought. I remember thinking
Courtney Cox? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I remember thinking she was like the good guy, and Ace Ventura was kind of the bad guy,
the villain.
Yeah, right. Like they have the same goal, right? But he's like this weird creep, this disgusting word creep, you know. But you know, maybe that's just you know, you read things your own way. I feel like anyone that look at his outfit. I just googled it. Like, look at his outfit. Of course, he's a bad guy. Yeah, so I'm gonna go watch that movie today. We were talking earlier about how interesting it is that it's like so universally praised, you know.
Yeah.
And it reminded you of Parasite, and
just the way people are talking about it. I have no context for what it's about. I know nothing about it other than the way we're talking about it is like, it's rare that something's so universally loved in this way.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring out how much I loved Parasite since you mentioned it before the show. I was like, can I mention on the show that I love Parasite? Because that movie is fucking #1. Like anyone that like was upset that Parasite won Best Picture is a fucking racist. Like, because that shit is undeniable. It might not be your favorite movie, but it is undeniable the level of quality in that movie and how successful it is in achieving like what it's aiming to achieve. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about before the show how it was sort of nice to, I think you especially, no offense, but me as well, tend to like bristle a little bit when everyone's talking about how great something is, we kind of go in with maybe a little bit of sort of contrarian expectations, not intentionally, but I think we're just very cynical. But that was a great example of a movie that everyone's like, this movie's fucking awesome. And I was like, all right, can't wait to see it. And then I watched it and I was like, yep, it absolutely was just as awesome as everyone says. And that can be kind of nice when it's like, yeah, this is just of such high quality that it's just universally praised for good reason, for no agenda, just an exceptional piece of work.
Yeah,
so it's nice,
and it's just beautiful. It's just such a beautiful movie. Like,
yeah,
like I don't know how you make a movie that looks.
That's exactly what people are saying about this movie too. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and the mom in Parasite's so hot. I think Parasite was one of the moments where I'm like, I'm so old. I like mom characters. Like, yeah, like I look at the young girl. Yeah, she's cute. She's a kid, you know. And I'm like, but the mom, come on.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I do.
Yeah, I really.
I gotta watch Parasite again.
I know. It made me want to watch it too. Just bringing it up was just like, I gotta watch this shit again. It's so good.
Like I said, that balance of a little bit of horror, like a lot of horror actually, in a really interesting way, but comedy, and also it's just such a masterful like purveyor of tone, and says so much without being cloying or irritating or preachy. It's just a really wonderful movie. If you haven't seen it, gotta see it.
It's incredibly successful at being one of the most suspenseful and funniest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Very challenging to be scary and funny and in
the same moments. You are terrified, but like laughing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The scene where you see his eyes, the stairs, so scary and so funny and so awesome.
Or when they're hiding under the table, like you know, like that whole part where they're hiding from the people when they come home. I mean, that's all kind of part of the same sequence, but yeah, that whole sequence is incredible. Like, there's just so much great stuff about that movie. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to just make this the Parasite cast, man, but the way it tackles like all these like grooming and just like all of these weird issues and these like strange like kind of perverse things is just like it's so great. It feels really good to watch and like see these things explored. And that's why, right? Like, I don't know. I love this movie so much.
Yeah, no, 100%. Can't wait to see what you think about this movie too, because I've heard it's very, very good.
I can't wait to either. And I feel like we should watch Parasite again too and talk about it next week. More Parasite. All right, let's go back in the Wayback Machine. back in time to the sultry 97s.
Sultry.
Yeah.
Sultry. Interesting choice of words.
I just kind of just.
When I think of 97, I always think of sultry.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna read some news real quick before we get into the movie trailers.
Yeah. Inform me.
Okay, April 22nd, Whitewater Grand Jury's life extended. Federal judge in Arkansas grants request of special prosecutor after he reports discovery of evidence of obstruction of justice and needs more time. It's like the shit's been going on.
Yeah.
For every administration for the past 25 years.
Since fucking George Washington.
Yeah, we need to have a special prosecutor because this president's the worst one.
Yeah.
Christian Coalition leader resigns. Ralph Reed quits as executive director to start consulting. He becomes like a fucking lobbyist. Man, great.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like Jesus would want.
Yeah, I mean Jesus loved lobbyists.
Yeah, that's in there. That's in Exodus.
Senate approves chemical weapons treaty.
Nice.
Prohibit
Like anti or pro?
prohibit production, storage, and use of poison gas.
I think that's actually probably a good idea.
I don't know. Republican leader Trent Lott is the one who pushed that.
Lott.
Yeah, I think he's skinny, very like real military haircut on that guy. He's who I think he is. Court backs FDA on tobacco oversight. Agency can regulate tobacco as a drug, but they said it lacked the authority to control advertising.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that was back when like there were still Joe Camel ads.
Yeah. Now they you can't even put a flavor in a cigarette. Woman 63 gives birth to baby girl. Doctors believe she's the oldest person to ever have a child. She will be 81 when that girl graduates high school.
And she's definitely dead now.
She's definitely dead now. Rest in pieces. Trial begins in Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy Mcveigh.
We were just talking about that before the show.
Yeah, we were just talking about our belief in domestic terrorism and its
No,
virtues.
that is not what we're talking about. But
But
did mention,
kind of.
We did mention Timmy McVeigh.
All I was saying is if I need dog food and inflation and stops me from getting dog food, murder might be the only option. Missing A-10 pilot believed dead. Air Force, I don't know who this guy. Oh, he crashed in the Rockies. Captain Craig Button, rest in pieces for literally with this guy. I mean,
some dark news we got going on.
Yeah. I think that's
anything uplifting. Not this week. What was Boris Yeltsin and Bill Clinton? I'm sure they were palling around, having a good time.
Yeah,
molesting interns,
and whitewatering and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
Whitewater Gate. But you know, news may be depressing, but you know what never is depressing?
What never disappoints?
Movie trailers.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get into these bad boys. All right, they always start in the middle for some reason. I don't know why. It's funny. There's an option in VLC to be like start at the beginning, and it still doesn't.
But each other.
What the fuck? And their dreams.
I'm gonna be a professional detective. And I'm gonna have a 357 Magnum like Clint Eastwood.
A professional detective.
Whoa.
What's the pack we made?
Never drink, smoke, or do nothing.
Why not?
Cause we're gonna be professionals, man. That's why.
This is a great song.
Now
Whoa.
What's coming down?
they're about to discover how life and love can change everything.
I like how he just did not make the basket. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, what a loser.
4 stars from a random man. Hey, it's the best.
It's the best. You better do some racist shit in this movie, or I'm not watching it.
Go to the pawn shop.
Thrilling.
If you love me, you would have sent me that last tip.
I cannot.
That's the worst gun use. Alright, look at this.
I cannot tolerate these one-word. It's so irritating.
Look at this guy draw. Look at this guy. Look at, he looks.
That is clearly not a real gun. A. B. What is?
This guy has never held a gun in his life, and did not get any training on how to like.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the movie, right? Like maybe it's, but I bet it's not.
You know, it's like a theatrical actor.
It
like,
looks, yeah, totally, and it looks like a set, right? Like those trash cans look weird, and I know it's a pause frame,
yeah,
but it looks really bad.
Or that all the trash is just these uniform, clean bags of trash.
Yeah, just like real trash, right?
It's like real trash. But that's
Yeah,
definitely
it's clearly filled with like pillows.
that is definitely like, no, you got to accentuate the gun, push it at him, push it towards him, and it's like, why? Like, you can just stand there and pull it out. It's a gun, you know, like.
Are you using drugs? He's like, yeah.
I love drugs. Oh no!
Brothers kiss.
This looks
First look pictures.
intolerable.
Yeah, so bad.
Looks really irritating.
All right, what do we got next?
Your Honor, there is no doubt,
Hey!
one shred of doubt. He understands only one thing: dominance.
Somewhere
Whoa.
between ambition.
This is horny as
and
fuck, bro.
achievement.
Yeah.
I am turgid right now.
It's cool to see her though.
Yeah.
So young. I don't think I've ever seen her
Between
until
romance
recently.
Why haven't you?
This VO
such a
is
beautiful woman,
brutal.
Ever been married?
And rejection.
I don't want to be in this kind of relationship.
Evelyn Stevens is about to
Oh.
discover a realm of mystery.
Nothing about you is genuine.
What is that?
Fraud. Fear.
What the fuck?
And fantasy.
I like how it's fear, and then she's really scared right now.
Was that her boob? Did we just see a boob?
Woman who more than likely
I
loves
don't know,
too
Tony.
much.
I wasn't paying
Her
attention.
past.
Ooh, we saw some leg, that's for sure.
Talking about
Yeah.
Her future.
This is
Her future.
this is like Evangelion if it was a movie.
It's very strange, these trailers you find.
Tilda Swinton, acclaimed star of Orlando.
Why did you lie to me?
Amy
These
Madigan.
just are the trailers. I don't choose the trailers, okay?
I don't know. I think you
We
do.
met in an elevator. We had 2 drinks. That's not what happened.
Riveting! Highly erotic.
Female perversions.
Really? That's the name of the movie?
They
Yeah.
seem to be.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's the name of the movie?
Yeah, well-
Female Perversions?
Yeah, fucking females are disgusting perverts.
Jesus, that's fucking wild. that
Women
that
only want
ever
one
was
thing,
acceptable.
and it's disgusting, okay?
God.
I'm watching female perversions for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure you are.
Hilda, I'm coming.
Remember the prom? You got so thin by then. I was so lucky getting mono. That was like
This
the
is a
best
good
diet
movie.
ever.
Meet Romy and Michele.
Remember
No.
that time I barfed from really bad Mexican food? So gross. I hate throwing up in public. Me too. Oh,
They walk the walk.
God, this underwear is totally riding up my butt.
They talk the talk.
Up my butt.
Did you lose
Up my
weight?
butt.
All I've had to eat for the past 6 days are gummy bears, jelly beans, and candy corn. God, I wish I had
Same.
more discipline.
But at
I live on gummy bears sometimes. They're my favorite thing.
this out in my right eye. Okay.
they'll be in a class by themselves.
We can go to the reunion and just pretend to be successful. Oh my God.
From this point on, we are sophisticated, successful career women.
Which one of these guys will I have sex with at the reunion?
Touchstone Pictures presents
That hurt, but it looked really good.
Mira Sorvino.
Actually, no, proves that you're cuter.
I love Mira Sorvino.
Yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah, you haven't watched Romy and Michele?
I'm sure I saw it, but it looks pretty good.
It's good. It's a
It
funny.
looks like, it looks like, Clueless,
In the story of the
which is extremely good. Seems like a good
leading the block.
movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, and like,
Romy and Michelle's
they're really good together. There's a lot. They're very charming as a couple.
We're pregnant, you half-wit. Well, I hope you're.
And I love Mira Sorvino. I couldn't not like her in anything.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch that. That looks great.
Yeah, Romeo and Michelle's a great movie. Look at this green. What is happening? Wait, hold on. What is happening with this green?
Yeah, what is that?
What is this? This is not the right color. Something's gone wrong.
Something went terribly wrong in 1997.
I have heard that because of the changes in like monitor displaying, like they used a lot of weird colors so that they would display differently in like CRTs or film cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you just see like a raw rip of some old things, the colors will be like blasted out. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm giving them too much credit and they fucking suck.
Yeah.
This seems like it was videotaped.
Yeah, this is
a Russian.
audio is wild.
This is a Russian cam.
Yeah, for sure. It's a cute dog though.
So cute.
What the fuck is going on with the audio? Whoa, it seems harsh. I'll do it.
I like how this guy's camera goes out of focus when the scene changes.
So you think he like used a webcam to watch like a VHS on a CRT TV and then upload it to YouTube?
I don't know how he found a microphone this bad.
It must have been from 1997. It was authentic.
Or like he made it from a Radio Shack kit. You know what I mean? It's like
He built it himself.
Built your first microphone, and it comes with a little like.
He's like, look, man, the world has to see this Shiloh trailer. I'll do whatever it takes.
Or it's some dude that like lives in the woods, right? And just only has Shiloh VHS tape, and he's just like,
he's been watching it for 40 years straight.
He's like, the world's got to know about this.
And everyone's like, no, we don't. We already know about it, and we forgot for a reason.
You didn't make this, you know? And he's like, I don't know. I've only ever seen one copy. The world needs to know.
Yeah, and he put it on YouTube, and there's like 4 views. He's like, what the hell's going on? Wow. I'm really impressed by the quality of that trailer you found.
Yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was because I don't really watch them ahead of time, but I'm also kind of impressed with how bad it was. So
I think it's great. It's like you're as surprised as I am.
I'm definitely as surprised as you are.
Southern California. We're heading for a high of
Look at this one. That's LA for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Shaker surprised all of us here in the Fox 11 newsroom. This was a small to moderate earthquake.
Epicenter in magnitude is in for a 10 spot.
Oh.
Palmdale.
Palmdale.
I don't want you telling her Rourke went fishing.
Okay, we don't pull her off the slopes.
I know what this is.
Gas explosion in the MacArthur Park area. Rescue crews.
Public Works lost 7 guys. What's going on? 3 guys on the storm drain.
I remember seeing this in theaters.
Steam doesn't chart tissue like this. Methane? Something else.
Magma.
Yeah, I bet it was magma.
Number 4 trend west.
Hey, you remember this dude melting?
Liquid hot
fucking
magma.
Absolutely melts.
Hey, parks don't look like that now.
Yeah, dude, MacArthur Park is fucked up.
It is fucked. It's sad. It's so sad.
It was bad when I was there. I'm sure it's not gotten better.
No, it's worse. And they keep running these cleanups, right? And they get better for a couple weeks, but then it just they don't maintain it.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, this looks pretty fucking rad.
This does look pretty rad.
It looks like way better than I remember it being. A lot of good practical effects.
Uh-huh. A lot of cool LA scenes, too. I want to like...
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be one of them, Tony.
As long as it takes out the Fairfax district with me, I'm okay. I can't take all these I can't take all these
couldn't reroute
literally
this shit.
All these fashion kids at Supreme. They need to go too. So I hope the lava takes them with me. It's worth it. It's the wildest thing going to Fairfax and buying stuff.
I bet.
And there's just lines of like, no lie, like 14-year-old Jewish kids, like all, like hype beast out, but with like their yarmulke on. It's just like, wow,
nice.
This is
That's
wild.
a cool look.
This is a wild look. Like it's cool.
The coast is toast. Did you see that?
You want to go back and see that the coast is toast?
Yeah. Could we see that again, please?
What about the surfing guy? Hard Rock Cafe?
No.
The coast
what I
is
wanted
toast.
to see. Right.
Please stay calm.
Ooh, look at that. Here we go. Ready? The coast is toast.
That's a dumb tagline. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's so dumb.
That's
I love
really
it.
bad.
It's very very, very stupid. It definitely feels like a first draft.
As
As someone who is really bad at writing taglines or like cool, compelling copy, like I would be terrible at this. I can say that this really fucking sucks. It feels like if I wrote this as a first draft, I'd be like, no.
I would make fun of the person that wrote this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm also
exactly.
bad at writing taglines, but if someone was like, hey, what about the coast is toast? I'd be like, shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
like, shut the fuck. We're not
Go
doing.
away.
The worst part is I would say that. I'd be like, we're not doing the coast is toast. And then a week later, we'd be like, do we
They
come up
would
with a
just be
tagline
there.
yet? And they'd be like, yeah, we're going with coast is toast.
I'd just be like, God
Fucking
damn it.
A, man. Like, are you serious? We're going to be a laughing stock. And they're just like, well, no one else had anything.
Yeah. No, that's true though, right? It's easy to talk shit, but if you don't come up with something better, what would you come up with? What's your tagline for Volcano?
Volcano.
The coast is toast. No, fuck.
No, I would say volcano.
Things are about to heat up in LA.
It's a meltdown downtown.
Ooh, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
LA's about to melt down something.
Or like
Meltdown downtown. That's kind of good, like you said.
Or like, things are heating up at the beach. Right.
Nailed it. Things are heating up at the beach. Come see Volcano, the movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
Hollywood,
Things are
more like
heating
Holly
up at the beach.
Magma.
Holly Magma.
Yeah.
Sounds like a porn star name from the 90s.
It probably is. There has to be a Holly Magma out there somewhere. The hottest thing this side of the Mississippi.
Wow. You really are bad at taglines.
Oh, I'm so bad. I tell people I'm so bad too. Like, it's funny because people will submit taglines to me and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care. You pick, because I don't know how to do this and I don't trust my judgment of yours. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
I know myself well enough to know I am terrible at all of this.
Same thing with like design stuff. I'm just like, I don't like it, but I don't know what I'm doing. So
I cannot suggest an alternative with any sense of confidence.
So
I'm
approved.
going to go ahead and default to you.
Approved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
So I don't know, man. Things are heating up at the beach.
Things
are pretty good. Pretty solid Volcano tagline.
You love it now.
I'm into it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. What was your tagline? What were you going to do?
Well, I don't know if I can beat that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'll come up with one next week.
See, I love coast and I love toast. So it's like, it just sounds positive to me. If the coast became toast,
there's no
eat
downside.
It. Yeah. I would just eat the coast with butter and a little sugar on top.
A little bit of jelly.
I like toast with butter and a little bit of sugar.
Wow, that sounds really healthy.
It's a real treat. I mean, not a lot, like sugar's fine. It's just the things you have with sugar in them have like 14 grams of sugar in a candy bar or something. I'm talking about like
a little light dusting.
A little light dust, just a little touch of sweetness on top.
So that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll have some toast for lunch.
I would suggest real food, but do you?
I think bread is real food.
I mean, bread and butter by itself isn't much of a meal. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Add a little protein to that, maybe.
Yeah, but throw a hamburger on top.
You know what I made last night for dinner? Actually, we had shabu shabu, but I made buffalo chicken rangoons on the side.
Ooh, that sounds incredible.
I saw them on TikTok, and I was like, I gotta make these. Real easy.
Send them over.
Real
Send
easy,
a couple
real
over
fun.
my way, will you?
They're frozen. I could send some to you, and you could fry them up yourself when you get a chance.
Yeah, that genuinely does sound delicious.
Dry
I guess
ice
I'm
pack 'em.
extremely hungry.
Yeah, they're really good. All right, that's all I got. Anything else you want to get to while we're still back in 1997?
No, I think I'm good. I think my favorite trailer, though, of all those, I would totally watch Volcano, and I would definitely watch Romeo and Michele's high school reunion. Both of those looked like genuinely pretty good.
I would watch Horny Lady one.
Of course.
And I would
Naturally.
watch... Yeah, I would watch Volcano, and I would watch Romeo and Michele. Actually, before Horny Lady one, but not too much before Horny Lady
Female Perversions.
Is that what it was called?
That's such a fucked up name. Like, I can't believe it.
My problem is it really perverted? Right? Because if it's just like...
Well, it just looked like a woman who, like, has sex on.
Yeah, maybe she kissed a
female
girl or something,
perversion.
right? Like, That's what I mean. If it's just
Imagine
that, like,
if a woman had a sex drive.
yeah, if it's just that, it's fucking bunk. Now, if she's like, getting like, pissed on in the stairwell or something, I'm just like, nah, this is, getting pissed on is not that perverted by itself.
But in a stairwell.
Like, in public, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we just sneak off in the corner and you take a leak on me. Like, that's perverted, right?
Yeah, that's pretty perverted.
So, like, that's the kind of shit where I'm just like, okay, now we're talking.
You've earned this title.
Yeah, now this is female pervert. Like, because for something to be perverted, it's got to kind of rub you like, that's not right,
Yeah.
If it's just like
a little off the beaten path.
Yeah, if it's just like, oh, I kissed a pretty lady after having a few glasses of Pinot Gris, it's like,
yeah,
cool.
It's like that's just like, being a human.
Yeah, like, great.
Normal stuff.
That sounds fucking great. Good. Like, I'm happy for you. Like,
yeah, that sounds like a really nice Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
I think
I think
the issue I take is the fact it's called female perversion. There's something about it where it's like,
but what if it's really perverted, right?
I don't think it is though. And again, is it unique to females? I guess maybe that's my issue with the title.
Maybe the movie itself is like, maybe it's just ladies that like to peg baristas, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
That's pretty perverted.
Yeah, like you have
pegging baristas.
Specifically baristas, like they have to have the little like a visor on.
Yeah, and it'd be funny because someone's like, well, I'm like part-time barista, I'm a manager, but I do work on the floor sometimes. And she's like, absolutely not, get the fuck out of my room.
I think her like the qualifier would be like, if you can do latte art, right? Like, can you do the little flower pattern with the foam, with the milk foam?
They're like, well, yeah, I'm learning. It's like, all right, get on in here.
Yeah,
let me get this strap on. Let's go.
We all like a motivated learner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's fine,
for sure.
But so that's what I'm hoping for. And I think I'm going to be disappointed, to be honest with you. I think she's just going to kiss a lady, and everyone's going to
like
be
maybe
shocked.
Enjoy like being dominated slightly, and everyone's like, female perversion.
Or maybe she'll like masturbate in her hotel room, and people will be like, "What the fuck is with this lady?"
Oh my god, women are out of control.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the world has gone mad.
The liberal agenda.
Yeah, fucking libs, fucking ruining the world. Yeah, that's so funny. All right, yeah, that's all I got. Sorry we went on a tangent about perversion. But
what else is new?
What else is new, right? Like, that's what you're here for. And we appreciate you being here. We love having you here. And if if you're a pervert, then I don't know. Good for you.
Yeah, what? Please finish that sentence.
I was gonna say something like, I was gonna tie it in to like reach out to us or like leave us a comment.
Yeah, but that's an invitation we don't necessarily need to extend.
I'm not really interested in your perversion, but enjoy it.
What I am interested in, though, is if you can come up with a better tagline than "The coast is toast."
Oh, that's better than the female perversion one. That's much better than what I was asking for. If you've got a better one than Hollywood or the beach is getting hot,
the beach is heating up.
The beach is heating up. If you've got a better one than that, I'd like to hear it.
And it'd be hard. I can't see how someone could beat "The beach is heating up."
No, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
So let us know. Leave a comment. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Leo, do you want to say goodbye before I turn it off?
Goodbye.
Thank you.